How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen Automotive, which was down 3% on the day. Many are asking, why did this stock have a red day when the market was rallying? Almost everything was green. What is going on? You know what? So I'll talk about it in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Mullen. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.29, being down 3.01%. On the low, it tested $1.21, and then on the high, testing $1.31. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 41.259 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 53.37 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we also seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it was at 35.06. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Mullen is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So you can see as far as for the low of the day, we ended up testing $1.21. So like I said in my previous video, we have been trading in a very tight range. And what it's looking like, we are holding up 120 fairly well. But if we break through this level, I have to emphasize this again, we can get down to around 115, and then the next area that you want to keep an eye on to see if it holds would be around $1.03. But if we still have this consolidation continuing as far as for the end of this week, then we could potentially look for a breakout for next week. And why am I saying this is because at some point sellers are going to start to fatigue, and then we're going to have the bulls wanting to push this price up further. So what we want to look for is a move to the 21-day EMA at $1.69. We ended up seeing a high of $1.31. So yes, many people might say, well, you know what, that's a good amount of catching up to do, but if we have strength in this play and there's demand in the market, I don't see why this is not possible. I can clearly see, though, we could end up having some resistance at the 50-day, which is at $1.87, but if we could break through this level, that's where we can make that move to $2, which is a psychological area for Mullen. And you'd want to see bulls stepping in at this particular price point. But from what it's looking like, especially as this week comes closer to the end, let's see if we continue to trade above $1.20, but we will get weak if we start trading below 115. Now, let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Mullen. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for May the 4th, we have Commonwealth Equity Services LLC that purchased 15,416 shares, and then we have Victory Capital Management Inc. that purchased 38,624 shares, and we have Advisor Investment LLC that purchased 10,000 shares. So yes, we have institutions loading up. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 27.91%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 7.28 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, short shares availability is at 6.3 million, updated 2 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 3.40%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the second, it is at 29.33, and then for the close of the third being at 27.91. So combined with the short interest percentage of the float being at 14.95%, and the criteria that we normally look for is 14% or higher, Mullen does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Mullen. So we see on the inflow it's at 10.50 million, and then on the outflow it's at 11.07 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 2.77 million, on the medium it was 5.86 million, and then on the small it was 1.87 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 4.40 million, on the medium it was 5 million, and then on the small it was 1.67 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 4th, we had that outflow of negative 1.63 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 14.57%. So we know that Mullen is a volatile stock, and we have been seeing a lot of volatility in the markets as well. So seeing the turnover ratio at this level should be something you should be used to by now if you are inside of this play, and of course if you've been watching my videos. So let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen, when it comes to the price action, it still continues to be range bound. And I mentioned this in the previous video. You want to see a continuation of $1.20 continuing to hold. And as far as for the range at the top, it looks like it's at around $1.33. So if we have a breakout above 133, I would love to see Mullen getting to at least $1.69. This is where we could see there's a good amount of strength. This is also right around we have the 21-day EMA. And as far as resistance is concerned, I could see it at around $1.87, which is where we have the 50-day moving average. But if it could break through this level, that's where we can get a test to that psychological area right at $2 for Mullen. So again, add that to your homework if you're bullish on this play and you're looking for some upside. Now, as far as for the bearish case scenario, you know I'm not going to be biased whatsoever, so I'm going to let you know what it looks like. If we break through $1.20, if you've been watching the video long enough, the next level is around $1.15. And if we break through 115, then it can go down to $1.03. And to give you guys my personal opinion on its performance today, I'm not shocked about it whatsoever. Remember what I was saying. If you're keeping an eye on other tech plays, in this particular case, looking at the EV sector, if you see a lot of stocks running up and then you have that one stock that is underperforming, you have to be concerned about it. But you also can't be shocked due to the fact that Mullen is not a company that is showing strong revenues. They're not even consistently profitable. So taking this into consideration, institutions are not going to be loading a ton of shares up on a play like this. They're going to be focusing on other plays, the main leaders, taking into consideration Tesla. We also did see a lot of buying coming into ChargePoint, also Lucid as well. So that's why I want to make sure if you are inside of this play and you are a trader and you're looking to swing it, have a stop loss. This is very essential because once the demand starts slowing down and we have been seeing below average volume, things could start pulling back very quickly, and that's why I give you those levels to the downside. Of course, I want to see a bullish move. I want to see you guys make some money, but I want to make sure you have a clear picture of what is going on here. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we have seen that institutions have loaded up on shares. And then when we take a look at the short interest information, Mullen does continue to have short squeeze potential. Again, no surprises there whatsoever, but we need to have that above average volume. We need to have buying pressure coming into the play. That's how we were able to have those strong spikes in the past. And the reason why we haven't been seeing that, the volume has just been very low. And there's also a lot of shorts who are in this play, so that doesn't help the situation either. And when we take into consideration what Jerome Powell was saying, I'm definitely on board. And I love the fact that he is sticking with the 50 basis points in regards to the rate hike. And as far as for the future going forward in regards to guidance, he's not as hawkish as he was in the past, and that's great as well. So let's see what Mullen can do, and let's see if they can actually bring out some more catalysts that can get this stock moving in a direction where we want it to go. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I can't wait to see how this stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.